Talk about Oliver Rowland and Nissan.
Okay.
I think Oliver Rowland is probably the most unluckiest Formula E driver at this precise moment because, again, what a weekend that man had.
Yeah.
And
I,
again, through no fault of his own, it's taken away from him.
I mean, yeah, it's a weird one because he timed his attack mode, his first one, really well. Because the thing that the drivers have suddenly realised is attack mode now is it's more superior than it was in Gen 2, which is saying something. But the problem it causes now is it's so we're going to see some really aggressive defending going forwards because it's now track position's vital. And what Ollie did really, really well is he kept himself out of trouble, kept himself in that lead pack, so that once he then took his first attack mode, everybody around him had already used their first. He built that gap. He
Yep,
built what was it? It was like a 4 or 5 second
he
buffer at
did.
one point, which actually, would have been enough if it wasn't for all the stoppages for the others to take their second. He'd still have the lead. So I mean, and then it was just one of those things with the Nissan. I'm assuming, given that it was obviously all 4 Nissan
Yep.
powertrains, we were umming and ahhing. We were speaking in the media center. We wonder if it's actually to do with the start because NATO, Barnard, and
It
Bird
was on
all
lap
got
0.
theirs. Literally, the message came through on like the second lap,
Yeah.
and then Roland's was not long after. Obviously, was it the first restart.
Yeah.
So we're wondering whether actually it was a software glitch to the start potentially.
Because
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
good point.
because what's happening?
the
Because
first
what's
part
happening
over the
now?
line, isn't it
Yeah.
350, and then it goes back to 250 or
Yeah,
300 or
so
300.
whatever it is.
what the thing is though is obviously where these cars are so much faster, they're obviously taking more speed into the first corner, and the braking
Yes.
zones it's changed completely. So, like I said, Nissan are obviously looking into it, doing an investigation. It's not been confirmed yet the
Yep.
actual cause, but there's quite a few of us who reckon actually it's to do with the start and going into turn one, given just purely based on how quickly the notes came through from the stewards,
Yeah.
basically on what laps it was.
Because for Birds, Netos, and Barnards, it said lap 0. Like, it said lap 0.
Exactly, which would suggest that it was probably potentially the wheel spin to go into their grid slot.
So the race
So
hasn't
yeah,
even started, maybe.
No,
It's
no,
the-
no,
no,
no, no,
which
no,
would be lap
no.
0.
Lap 0 is lap 1.
No, but what I mean is that
When
from
they
what
come
Nick,
round to complete lap 1,
yeah,
that is when lap 1 starts.
no.
Because I saw it on the graphic, I hated it.
I know, but what I mean is, from what Nick said there is, they said the wheel spin. So imagine when they do that little free push towards the they go from the free grid spots back to their grid spots. So I'm assuming what Nick has said that moment is what's causing the spike.
We wonder if it was either that or going into the first corner where everything's changed, because it was interesting in particular with Ollie for both restarts when he was on the front row. He had the best start by a mile,
Yes.
which was
And it did it
interesting.
twice.
Yeah, but it's I think it's one of those things that there's a lot of things that Sao Paulo was one of the. I called it one of the most dramatic races in FE history. It was just absolute
Chaos.
just
But that's
I don't
every
know what
Formula E race,
word to
mate.
use.